Hello everybody and welcome to the Stone Dogs 40k. Bit of a special one today. We are replaying an updated version of the Battle at the Farm, which is the introductory battle from the original Rogue Trader Warhammer 40,000 rulebook. This was actually printed in 1987, so that's my original copy, which I think I bought in 1988 or 1987 late. Very proud of that. But anyway, we're going to play Battle of the Farm, slightly updated to take into account the newer rules, and we're actually playing this with the majority of second edition models. We'll go through that in a minute. But the scenario is based on the fact that the Space Marines are travelling to a recovery pickup point. They got caught out in the open and have decided to hunker down in this old farm. They're taking cover overnight. They've posted sentries. The sentries are the scouts over in the trees here, and this half of the table is the Space Marines half. Unbeknownst to the Space Marines, there's a roving band of Orks travelling around the countryside who are represented on this battlefield edge, and the Orks do not know that the Space Marines are in the farm, and they do not know that the sentries are here. They are aware the farm is there and they are coming to loot it. However, this obviously is going to be interrupted as soon as the Space Marines realise that the Orks are there. This area here is just, well, this would represent the ruined generator in the original mission, but obviously it's just there for a bit of extra cover for the Orks if required. It's 500 points aside, so let's have a quick look at the armies and then I'll explain the rules of the battle in a bit more detail. So the Space Marine army first, this is 494 points. So we've got two standard 10-man tactical squads. Now these are identical squads, so we've got a chainsword on the sergeant and a flamer and a missile launcher, and they've been split into two 5-man combat squads. So same again on this side, we've got a chainsword here with a flamer and then a missile launcher over the back. And then there is a captain who represents Pedro Cantor, but obviously this is my homebrew chapter. He's got a power fist and a master-crafted bolt gun. So that's the Space Marines. There's also a squad of sniper scouts just over in the trees here, I must add, as well. Those act as the sentries. And then on the Ork side, again 500 points. This comes in at 497. So we've got 20 Gretchen, two 20-man squad of boys. There's a big shooter and a power claw on the boss. There's a war boss with a combi shooter and a power claw and a killer cam there, which is actually just there to make up points. Now in the original, the other 20-man boy squad, again identical, big shooter and a power claw on the boss. Now the original battle, the sides were split so that there were 15 Space Marines and one leader. And on the Ork side there were 20 Orks plus two commanders or bosses, whatever you want to call them. And the idea was that the Orks would get the bosses into the farm building, the main farm building, and stay there for 2 turns to loot some jewels that they'd left in there and were coming back to recover. They didn't know that the Space Marines were there. Obviously the Space Marines then would fight back. And it was basically annihilation on both sides. The Space Marines had to try and completely destroy the Orks. The Orks had to recover the jewels and then kill as many Space Marines as they possibly could. So for this game, what we're going to do is we're going to play it slightly differently. The objective is this supply cache. Now the Space Marines, when they arrived at the farm, found this supply cache and have settled here to A, try and protect it, and B, move on to their collection, their pickup point in the morning. The Orks know that the supply cache is there, but they don't know that the Space Marines are there. So their objective is to get from that edge of the table into the farmyard and seize that objective. And in the process kill as many Space Marines as possible. So at the end of the battle, we're using random battle length rules, so it could be turn 5, but it could also go to turn 7. The side that has the most models within 3 inches of the centre of this objective will win the battle. Now, how will the battle unfold? So this assumes that it's the early hours of the morning, so it's still dark. The Orks will advance quietly towards the farm. As they do so, the scouts over here will have the opportunity to spot the Orks approaching. So battle round 1, if they roll a 6 on a d6, then they will spot the Orks, and then for each battle round up to battle round 4, it's a 5 up, a 4 up, or a 3 up. And if we get to battle round 5, at the start of battle round 5, if they haven't been spotted already, the Orks will automatically be spotted, as we'll assume that there is enough daylight for them to be seen moving across the countryside. And at that point, I'm sure all hell will let loose. So that's basically what we're going to do with the battle, and we're going to get stuck in shortly. So turn number 1 is coming right up, and it will be Orks going first. So before we do go into turn number 1, each side has got 5 command points for the purposes of command point rerolls, and again, that's something that didn't exist in the first edition of this game. So 5 rerolls are allowed. That is it. That will be the maximum. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so turn 1 is right around the corner. So at the end of Orks turn number 1, this is where we're up to. I didn't mention earlier on that if the Orks decide to shoot at any point, that will automatically make them visible to the Space Marine side. So for Space Marines turn number 1, first of all we need to see if the scouts do actually spot the Orks approaching. If they do, then it's business as usual for turn 1. If they do not, we go straight into Orks turn number 2. Okay, so they do not spot the Orks approaching, so Orks turn 2 is next. Okay, so battle round number 2, turn 2 for the Orks. Quite good moves, advances for these 2 units. Killer Can, War Boss, and the Boy Squad over the far side didn't get quite as good a roll. Space Marines need a 5 or a 6 to spot them approaching, and they roll a 4, so still no spotting of the Orks. So battle round number 3 is coming right up. Orks turn number 3. Orks turn 3, Gretchen have moved up on the left flank. Similarly, these guys have advanced forwards just to try and get a little bit closer to the farm. Do the Space Marines spot them? Need a 4, 5 or 6. They do not. So we're going into battle round 4. Orks turn number 4. Okay, so the Ork movement turn is complete. These guys have moved up here. The Orks have moved up into the wooded area over the far side. Now we're not going to give the Space Marines a chance to spot the Orks because they're close enough now to start shooting. So 18 shots from these Grot Blasters into this squad. So these hit on 5s. Okay, 4, 5 dackers. And There we go. So those all hit. So these are 5s to wound. Got blasters aren't particularly powerful. There's only 3 wounds in there. Now I forgot to take into account cover. So this is soft cover, yeah, so what we'll do is we will roll this as a 2 up rather than a 3 up instead, and I'll just have to remember cover next time round. Okay, so that's 1 wound, so that's 1 dead Space Marine. Okay, we're next going to do this rocket launcher into this squad. So that's 1 shot which misses. The war boss is going to shoot his custom shooter into this squad again. So that's 1 hit with a Daka. 2 hits. And can't remember the strength on that, just bear with me. Yeah, so it's strength 4, so that's 1 wound with a 3 up save, which is saved. Okay then. Next up we've got this squad of boys who are shooting all of their pistol shots into this squad here. So that is 19 pistol shots. 4, 9, 11, 13, 15, 18, 19. Again, they're in cover, so these would normally hit on a 5, but they are actually hitting on a 6. We'll take that one as a roll. Okay, so it's literally 2 hits, but they're both Dakas obviously. Okay, no. 4s to wound, both wound with a 3 up save, and they are both saved. And then we've got the big shooter, 3 shots. Again, hitting on 6s. That's 1 hit, 2 hits, both wound, and 1 goes through. So that's another Marine killed. Okay, and then finally over the far side, so a bit of a difficult one this, because the boys normally hit on a 5. Some of them are in cover, some of them aren't, so the cover gets negated. Because these guys have got camo cloaks, they hit on a 6 instead of a 5. So we need to see how many of those are actually in the wood, because the ones that are in the wood will negate the cover. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus the big shooter. So 8 pistol shots and the big shooter. And they're all hitting on 6 to 6s. So 4, 8, plus the 3 for the big shooter. All hitting on 6s. 2, 3, 4. With the Daka, it's another 2. 4s to wound. And 4 up saves. So that's 1 dead scout. There we go. So that's the end of the shooting phase. Charges are next. So first things first, the boys are going to charge into the scouts. So we've got 4 shots from the scouts and we get 1 hit. It's a 4 to wound, so it does not wound. And they need to roll a very low number, so they get that absolutely fine. So now, because we don't actually know that these trees are exactly where they're standing, we're going to just move that one out of the way a little bit, just so that we can effectively move these guys in to combat. What I'm going to do is move that tree over there. Those guys can come in behind. Just a little bit of forestry going on There we go, so they're now in combat, and this squad here into the Space Marines. So Flamer first for 6 auto hits. Just need one more dice. Falls to wound, 5 wounds and 6 ups. So that's 4 dead boys from that squad. We've then got a bolter, and a bolt pistol. No hits. And the charges are 4, which is good enough. So just to make things easier in terms of getting these models into combat, I'm just going to take these fences away, and we'll imagine that the Orks in their frenzied charge have just battered down the fences. There we go. That's it for charges. So these are going to stay put, and these are going to stay put for now. So fight phase is next. So we're going to start here. I'm going to start with the boss, who gets 3 attacks with his Power Claw, and he hits on 3s. Strength is 8, so 2's to wound, 2 wounds, and it's a 6-up save. 1 saved, 1 goes through, and it is D3 damage, I think. I'll check that, but so it's 2 damage. Power Claw is yeah, D3 damage, but it's only 1 hit, so it takes out 1 of the scouts, and then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 attacks from the rest of the boys. 4, 8, 12, 16. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. 4-up saves. Okay, so that's another one killed. Take out that guy. Scouts get to fight back, so that's 3 attacks in retaliation. All 3 hits. Ooh, 2 wounds. And they're not saved, so another 2. Take them from the back. Are killed. And then over into the centre, so same deal, 3 attacks for the boss, all 3 hits, all 3 wound, and 2 go through, so that's 2 dead Space Marines. And then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 attacks from the rest of the boys. Hitting on 3s, that's not great. Wounding on 4s, that's better. 3 up, that's another one killed. So Sergeant gets to fight back, so he gets 3 attacks because of the chainsword. Hits with 2, wounds with 1, manages to kill 1 boy. Okay, so that's the end of the fight phase. No need to worry about morale because the Orks haven't lost enough in this unit. However, that Space Marine unit, yeah, they're good. That's the end of turn number 4. So we're going into battle round number 5. No, we're not, because it's the Space Marines for turn 4 next. Okay, so Space Marines movement. I'm just going to move this captain forward just to within charge range, and these guys are also going to move forward just to open up their line of sight. And these guys are also just going to move so that they are around and protecting the supply cache. So that's it for movement. Shooting is next, and we're going to start here. So we've got Flamer, which is out of range, I think. Let me just double check. Looks like it is. It is actually. You know what? Revert to the movement phase. I should probably just move him forwards to there. And that actually does put him in range of the front 1.5 ranks of Gretchen. So, Flamer first for 3. Wounding on 3s. 6 up saves. So, 2 of the Gretchen are killed. And then we've got 6 bolt shots, remembering bolter discipline because they haven't moved, in on a 3, wounding on a 3 with a 6 up. That's another 2 Gretchen taken care of. Okay. Bolt pistol here, 1 shot, hits, does not wound, and we're going to fire everything else from this unit and this unit into the killer can. So we've got the mastercrafted bolt gun, 2 hits, no wounds, 4, 8 bolt gun shots from the 2 5-man squads. Re-rolling for the captain. Okay, so 4 hits, 1 wound, which is saved, and then we've got 2 missile launchers which are going to fire crack missiles. Both hit, both wound. Now, crack missiles are -2 AP, so it's 5 up saves. Look at that, that would have been D6 damage a pop. Wowzer. Right, that's the end of the shooting phase. It's the charge phase next. Captain is going to charge in, which he does quite easily, so he's in. This squad, however, is not going to charge in. They're going to stay put. Okay, so it's now the Space Marines fight phase. We'll start with the scouts, who appear to be a little bit doomed. 2 hits, 2 wounds, not saved. 2 more go down. And then we've got the power claw, all 3 hits, all 3 wound. It's a 7 up save, isn't it? It's -3 AP, and they've got a 4 up save, so that's 3 wounds. That's enough to take that squad out. So the scouts are no more. Bit of a disaster in the forest. And then these guys are going to consolidate 3 inches in this general direction. I'm just going to bring these guys out to the edge of the woods. There we go. Okay, then into the center. So the captain gets 4 attacks. They all hit. 2's to wound. They all wound. And they're all they're all at minus AP, so actually that is 4 dead boys. Let's take those 3 loose ones and then 1 guy from the back, and then the sergeant. 3 attacks, re-rolling for the captain. 4s, and then a 6 up, not saved, so that's 1 more boy taken care of. And then we'll do the boss back into the sergeant. They all hit. That's 2 wounds, 6 ups to save. Sergeant is gone. And 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 attacks into the captain. Getting on 3s, we'll miss that one. Three wounds. 2 go through. So, captain. Captain down to 3 wounds. That's the end of the fight phase. No morale for Space Marines. That's the end of battle round number 4. So battle round 5 is next. Ork movement phase for turn 5 is complete. So the Gretchen have just standard moved up to within charge distance here. These 2 have moved forwards. No movement here. And this squad, which was on the edge of the forest, has just advanced across to this flank. One thing I do need to do, which I didn't do before, is just do a consolidation just here, which will look something like this. The reason I'm using these movement trays on this mat is because they're really easy to just scoot around, so you can just slide them around where you want them, which is great, unlike the fabric mats, which are a little bit more grippy, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to move these trays around. So that's the end of movement, and we're doing shooting next. So we're going to start here, and we've got 4, 8, 12, 16 grot blasters, which are normally hitting on a 5, but they're going to hit on a 6 because of cover, because I remembered. So we've got some in there, and we've got 5 Dackers for an extra 1. Wounding on 5s with a 3 up save. Okay, so another Space Marine is dead. We've got the rocket launcher here, which again is going to go into this squad. 1 shot, hits, wounds, and ooh, is that saved? Well, it is saved because it's minus 2 AP and they have a 3 up. However, it wasn't a hit because of cover. That should have been on a 4, and I actually rolled it on a 3, so it wouldn't have hit anyway, but they saved it. Okay, we've then got the war boss who's going to shoot into this squad. Another mistake on my part, that gun is assault 2, not assault 3, so that's 3 hits anyway, but obviously it's actually only 2, but no wounds. Okay, now all of these weapons are pistol weapons, so they all get to shoot. 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, so there's 9 pistol shots into the captain. 6, 9. One, no, it's not a Dacker, is it? Yes, it is. Doesn't hit anyway. 1 more goes through, so he's down to 2 wounds. And then these guys advanced, so they're not in a position to shoot because they're not an assault weapon. Okay, that's the end of shooting. Charges are next, and we'll start with the Gretchen, who we're going to charge through the fence. So we shall do Overwatch first. First things first, we've got 4 bolter shots, none of them hit, and then we've got a flamer which gets 4, wounding on 3s, and is not saved. So 1 more Gretchen is taken out in the charge, and the charge is easily in. Again, we're going to take that fence away just to make things a bit easier. We're actually going to take these out of the tray now just to get maximum contact, and again, because they're on 25mm bases, I know that's a bit of an issue at the moment in terms of some armies, because it means you can get more into contact with the enemy, but there you go, them's the rules, folks. There we go, that charge is complete, and then we've got a charge killer can into this squad. So again, there's, what is there, 2, 4, 6, 8 bolter shots for 2 hits. They are close enough to the captain to get a reroll, but they don't get any extra. Wounding on 5s, saved on a 3, and then there's a crack missile which gets 2 shots. Neither of them hit. So the charge for the killer can is 4 inches, which is not enough by a long stretch. However, here we go, re-rolling the charge for 8. So that is a successful charge. So he makes it in. And what we're going to do as well is, I'm tempted to charge the war boss in here, but I think the war boss needs to come in here to try and assist in taking the supply cache. So the war boss also is successfully into that combat. Bad luck, Space Marines. That's the end. No, it's not. Got a charge here as well. So 2, 4, 6, 8 bolt rifle shots. Okay, so 3 Overwatch hits, 2 wounds, 1 is saved, 1 is not. Missile launcher, frag missile, 6, hitting on 6s, that's 1 hit, too far away from the captain, wounds, and is not saved, so that's another 1 gone. And then charging on a 6. That is good enough. End of the charge phase. Fight phase is next. Okay, here we are at the fight phase. Done a lot of consolidating just to make sure we've got maximum impact. So these guys are all consolidated in around this squad. These guys need to just push in just a little bit, but they're okay where they are. And then the Gretchen have consolidated, and I've just represented that by having the ones that were at the back move to this side, so they're all in combat. So that means we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 15 hits from the Gretchen. 6, 12, 15, and these hit on 6s, I believe. I'll check that in a minute. So they get 1 hit. I'll just double check that that is right. My mistake, they hit on 5s. So that's 4 hits. 5s to wound. 1 wound. And it's a 3 up. And it's a save. Okay, and then we've got 3, 4, 5 attacks back. So we've got 1 each for the Space Marines and then 3 for the Sergeant. They hit on a 3. They wound on a 3. And they have a 6 up save. So they take out 3 more of those Gretchen. And we'll come to this squad here. So we've got the the boss knob first. Okay, so that's 2 hits, 2 wounds, 1 save, d3 damage for 3. So that's another Space Marine obliterated. And then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 hits. 18, 20, 24. Just going to roll these in a couple of batches. And these are hitting on 3s. Not bad at all. Wounding on 4s. Oh my god. Alright, let's do that in. Do those separately. Okay, so wounding on 4s and 3 up saves. That's enough to kill 3 of the Marines. So we'll take out the missile launcher, that guy, and that guy. One Space Marine hits back, hits, wounds, not saved. So he does get a bit of revenge for his fallen comrades. While we're here, we will just consolidate these guys forwards. There we go. Okay, we're now looking at the combat over the back here, so we'll do this one next and then we'll do that central one. So first things first, boss, 3 attacks, 1 hit, strength 8, toughness, yeah, that's that is a wound, -3 AP. So the captain has a 4+ invuln, so that's a pass on the save. And then we've got 4, 2, hold on, let's do the boys. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Is that right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So that's 5, 8, 10, 14, 18. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. Okay, so they're all saved apart from 1. So he is down to 1 wound. Okay, and then we're into the centre. Warboss first, 4 attacks, hitting on 2s. 2 hits. Strength is, well, it's 2 to wound. -3 AP. 1 goes through, d3 damage, but it's going to be 1 dead Marine. So I'm going to take one of those guys out, and then, oh, sorry, excuse my finger. Then we'll do the killer can. So the killer can gets 3 attacks that hit on 5s. Strength is 8, so that's a wound. And minus, this is with a cannon claw, -3 AP, so 6 to save. Not saved, so that's another Marine sliced into small pieces. And then in retaliation, we've got 3 attacks. They are not within 6 of the captain, I don't think. Oh, yes, they are just. So they can re-roll those 2 1s. So we get 2 hits. This is into the killer can, just so you know. Wins on a 5. No good. Wowzer. Okay, that's the end of battle round number 5. So, do we continue? So we needed to roll a 3+ to have the game go into battle round number 6, and we've rolled a 1, so that is the end of the game. In terms of the victory condition, it was have most models within 3 inches of the objective. The Space Marines have got 3, whereas the Orks have got 5. So it is an Ork victory by the slenderest of margins. But in terms of continuing this battle, I think if we were to continue, these guys would be gone. The Gretchen would be gone. The Captain would be gone. This last Space Marine would be gone. So it would be on the Space Marine side, literally these 3 guys left. But we'd have the majority of this squad, and these 2 units left. So it would still be an Ork victory at this stage. So that's it. That's the end of the game. I hope you've enjoyed tagging along. It's been good fun, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for now. Bye.